Right, so there's a lot going on right now, but you got to hear what James is mad about right now.
I am beside myself, Kevin. That Kevin has only just recently watched The Shawshank Redemption for the first time.
For what it's worth, I have seen the last 40 minutes. I wanted to say like 5 or 6 times.
A lot.
But yes, up until this point, when Morgan Freeman looked up at the banister and it said Brooks was here, that's correct. I didn't know who Brooks was. And now knowing who he was, I would say that, okay, yeah, I can see the power in that scene a little bit more clearly.
So, what did you think?
I'm going to come in with a hot take here. It's pretty good. It's very well paced. I really like the arc that they do with Andy, and I think it did a lot, especially for an early 90s movie, to look at the prison industrial complex and was like, no, this is corrupt as shit. And this is what these people have to do in order to find connection and to have a life once they're outside of that system. I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah, and it sends a good message, and now we have no issues with the prison system anymore. It's perfect. It's literally a perfect system, and it never will have any issues ever again.
Yeah, freedom and justice for all has not been infringed upon in the last 200 years.
On an unrelated note, though, everyone should go watch 13th on Netflix.
Yeah. And there's also a litany of other really great content for you to watch, including Just Mercy, I Am Not Your Negro, which is a really great documentary that's streaming now. There's plenty of great content that not only take a look at the justice systems, but also the lens in which they affect Black lives, and we absolutely stand with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Hey, look at that. We got political. Black Lives Matter.
It's because it's something that I'm sort of shocked that it wouldn't mean something to everyone, but apparently that is a political stance to take. Yeah. But listen, there is a lot of great content out there. There is also trailers, and that's what our lane is. And we are throwing it into drive right now and barreling 88 miles an hour. Will we go back in time? No, we're looking ahead. Some of these movies include Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. They also include 7500, which is a very stern and scary thriller about a plane hijacking. There is also Money Plane, which is a not stern and not serious thriller about a plane hijacking, but it's also a casino, so I guess it's okay. Then, to round it all out, we have Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is what you, dear listener, will be doing right now, because this is the theme song.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Future releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
In the meantime, we're doing our power ranking of the Indiana Jones movies that we've seen. I'll start first. Raiders of the Lost Ark. And anyway, hi, welcome to Trailer Hitch. I'm Kevin.
Oh, it was like a joke. Like, that's the only Indiana Jones movie.
That's the joke, but as you know, all jokes have some level of truth to them. And that level of truth is Raiders of the Lost Ark is the only one I've seen.
Oh, well, that's a whole other thing. Hi, I'm James. I'm the co-host of this podcast, the one that you're listening to right now. And I've seen all the Indiana Jones movies and all the Shawshank Redemption franchise movies.
That last one wasn't nearly as impressive, but we'll still accept it.
Okay, cool.
This is Trailer Hitch. This is where we rate and review movie trailers. We rate them on a scale of need to see more, or never need to see. If James and I both see a trailer that we really enjoy, we celebrate. Then we go see the movie, report back to you guys in a segment called Trailer in the Review, in which we review the trailer in retrospect and talk about the film at large. But before we can even do that, we have some trailers to talk about. Isn't that right, James?
We got like 4 trailers to talk about, I'd say.
This first one, the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, James actually sent me the first bit of marketing for this. And
you're damn right I did.
It was a goofy music video starring Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams. I looked at it and went, oh, that's just the ad for the actual Eurovision Song Contest. Like, they wanted to do something special. And James went, well, let's talk about this. And I was like, we don't do ads, motherfucker. Trailers are their own goddamn art form. And I'm not here to talk about a commercial. You can go ahead and get that out of my face.
I would like to say, that whole back and forth never actually took place.
Oh, this is all in my brain.
If it would have, I would have said, Kevin, it is an advertisement for a movie.
Well, and that's the thing, was you sent me a list of potential trailers to talk about today, and then I saw it right at the tippy top. And I went, this motherfucker's trying to hoodwink me again. He's trying to pull a fast one on me. Should I send him back a list of documentary trailers I want to talk about? Why, I oughta. And then I finally clicked on it and went, oh, dear God, it's a movie. And now we're going to be talking about that movie. This is Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga.
All right, everyone. I am Lars. This is Sigrid. We are Fire Saga.
42 countries, hundreds of performers, and a worldwide audience of 180 million. This is Eurovision.
Fire Saga are not giving up. Tonight is our night.
What are you doing?
I just want my ding-dong to look bigger than what is really there.
I could do a camel.
Do a classic camel. It's never out of style.
Yeah.
And representing America in the Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga trailer review is Trailer Hitch. This is directed by David Dobkin, written by Will Ferrell and Andrew Steele. This is starring Will Ferrell, Rachel McAdams, Dan Stevens, Natasha Demetriou, Pierce Brosnan, Demi Lovato, our random shout-out, because we here at Trailer Hitch like to give random shout-outs to cast and crew members because the top-billed people tend to hog all the credit. So we're going to shout out Celeste Chatta, who was the scoring consultant. Hey, Celeste, thanks for helping those people with their score, bud.
Yeah, I have no additional comment. Thank you.
Sometimes thanks is enough.
That's right.
All right, this is something that, again, totally a movie. James, tell us what's happening in this narrative feature.
Okay. Okay. So, Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams are a singing duo that dream to be a part of the Eurovision contest. It's a contest,
yes.
Right? Okay. So, full disclosure, I've never heard of Eurovision in my entire life.
All I know is it's a contest. A bunch of different European countries get together, and it's basically a continental battle of the bands. And they are playing two band members who are struggling in their native home country to find a voice, and then somehow, get chosen to represent Iceland in the Eurovision contest. Now, James, did you catch how, if, why they are picked to represent Iceland? No. I thought that it was kind of vague, at least in the couple of times I watched the trailer.
Yeah, it's pretty glossed over in this trailer. They make a joke about it, and I think that because so much of the trailer is setting up for how not good the community thinks they are as a band, that like I know it's going to be a part of the film as to why they are being chosen. Maybe that's an aspect of the movie that is really fun in context, and they don't want to ruin why they are even choosing this band.
That's legit.
In which case I say more power to you. I would agree that it does leave the trailer a little vague, but on the flip side of it, I am playing both sides here. I think they give you enough setup that they are so ridiculously underdogs that you have to know they will address it in the movie. And I don't necessarily need it in the trailer.
I think, especially when it comes to the fact that it is a part of the setup, I do think it is interesting to explore those things in a trailer to basically get us to the point we need to get to. Because when you focus more on what the first 20 to 30 minutes has in store for you as a film, then it leaves everything after that a surprise when you're actually watching it. Because we do see them perform and we see them fail. We see Will Ferrell fall from the sky and everyone points and laughs at him. And he goes, oh, gadzooks, I failed. And he and Rachel McAdams kind of try to connect with each other. And she keeps urging him, no, this is your dream. You have to do this. She leans in to kiss him. And then he more or less uses his palm like a face hugger, an alien, and just pushes her away. And went, no, we can't have any sexual tension in this band. And that was the moment I realized, oh, they're not married or a family or a couple or anything like that, which is an interesting choice But at the same time, the trailer especially leaves vague a lot about Rachel McAdams' character. We get a ton about Will Ferrell and his dad, who does not care for the guy too much. But I really don't know too much about Rachel McAdams, and clearly she is also part of the band that's one of two members.
I mean, I know a lot about her.
Tell me.
Yeah, she's there to make sure the man has a character arc. So, boom, there you go.
Right. And that has totally been enough for about 100 years of cinema. But we are now starting to hit the point where we're like, you know what's nice is actually like having fully fledged characters and stuff.
So that was an excellent point, and I totally agree. I think that trailer could really use with some Rachel McAdams character stuff. You spend all this time with Will Ferrell, and it's clearly a duo, not this is a Will Ferrell movie and Rachel McAdams happens to be in it. That would be a different story. This is clearly a 1-2 punch of a movie. I'm sure she has I'm not sure. I hope she has more to do in the movie than just encourage Will Ferrell to keep following his dreams. But that is something I would agree with you should be in the trailer. And I will not get points for that, for sure.
Now, in terms of stuff I liked, I'm a really big sucker for music movies, and I'm especially a sucker for follow your dreams kinds of movies. And I do find it fascinating when we take a look at art that sucks, more or less. And this combines all three of those things. And I do think that there is something fun and interesting about showing that and displaying that. And instead of just pointing and laughing at the William Hungs of the world, we're now going to follow them, and we're going to try and understand their process, why they are the way they are, what's driving them. I think I would have liked to have seen them maybe coming up with their music a little bit more in this, so we could kind of understand where they come from with their craft too. But at the very least, we have really good personal motivation with Will Ferrell as to why he's doing what he's doing. I do appreciate that, and I am enjoying kind of like the larger meta aspect that's in play here of Eurovision being a real thing. Now let's follow one of these Nordic country bands that gets shared on social media as a, God, look at how fucking weird this is. Everyone point and laugh and saying, they're also people too, and let's hear their story as well. I do think that is really nice.
I totally agree with you. I mean, it looks like a really well-balanced combination of those three aspects. I would love to talk about the humor, because I laughed at this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Not that I thought it was going to be dumb, but in our profession, Kevin, I find myself watching so many trailers that maybe I laugh a little less. Maybe you felt differently, but at least in this one, I didn't feel like any of the humor in here was stuff that I would have saw coming. I found it all really funny, and it reminded me on a nostalgic level. This really reminded me of Blades of Glory.
Sure.
And I love Blades of Glory. And I haven't revisited it in a long time. And full disclosure, I'm sure there's some problematic things in it because, we're always advancing and we're always evolving in terms of what is good, and we're PC as fuck here on Trailer Hitch.
Abso-goddamn-lutely. Bear in mind, I just wanted to say first and foremost that, for God's sakes, I'm probably going to be problematic in 3 to 5 years. It's just the way the world works, but we learn and we grow.
That's right. We learn and we grow as long as we're open to learning and listening. Are we too preachy today, Kevin? I don't think so.
No. If anything, I feel like we should preach more. By the way, I don't know if you saw the package on your doorstep, but I did send you a soapbox. You are supposed to be standing on that for the entirety of this recording. But yeah, you saw Blades of Glory a few times.
I love that movie, and I think Will Ferrell, at least in my memory, he hasn't made a comedy that's as memorable as Blades of Glory to me in a while. And this looks like maybe it might fit that mold, and that excites me.
Yeah, I did laugh, and I was pretty frequently amused by it. I will say it started to kind of get to diminishing returns for me once I hit maybe the 2/3 point of the trailer, because at that point, a lot of what's driving the humor is very stereotypical Will Ferrell humor. And once I hit the 2/3 mark, you have Rachel Game Night McAdams standing right next to him. And I went, okay, I'm so ready for her, oh no, he died style joke. You know, I know she can be really funny too. What you got for me, bud? And the movie kept going back to the, whoa, Ferrell's dad is a dick. Well, but it would have been nice to have gotten a little bit more diversity within that humor.
I think that's fair.
I'm very much at a need to see more for this. I am kind of questioning, especially because Netflix tends to be pretty one and done with their trailers. And because they didn't really give me Rachel McAdams, there's a part of me that's looking at this and wondering, why did you hide her? And it might just be, oh, Will Ferrell, big star, gotta fucking put him in the trailer. And that's just as far as it went. And I'm going to watch the movie and I'm going to see a really funny and fully fledged character in Rachel McAdams as well. But by not giving me that, it is making me walk into the movie with some questions in the back of my mind of, is she going to get an equal enough and interesting enough arc as well? And I'll be curious to see, though. I'll probably end up watching this because, again, what else are we doing? But the trailer itself for me is a need to see more. How about you, James?
I think your points are completely valid, and especially the Rachel McAdams lack thereof in the trailer. But I think this looks great, so it's a need to see it for me. I think, look, if I'm being totally honest, it probably should be a need to see more. But I was so tickled by it, and I so rarely laugh so much at comedy trailers.
Oh, dude, if you laughed at a comedy trailer, that in of itself is really good. And if that puts you up to a need to see, no, man, fucking own it. God damn it.
Need to
be proud of your opinion.
Need to see. I mean,
hey!
I'll double need to see myself because I said it twice. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah. But we got another trailer here. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's a little bit more grim. But we got to move on from Eurovision Song Contest. Now, James, do you like gladiator movies?
I like the one gladiator movie I've ever seen.
I'm happy to hear that, but that's not relevant because this is 7500, which is about a plane hijacking.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your captain. I'd like to wish you a nice day and thank you for your trust in us.
Mayday! European 162, what's your emergency?
We have 7500.
Open the door!
They don't have guns! They don't have knives! If you work together, you can beat them!
It's okay, you're gonna be alright!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as Kevin said, we are getting a little bleak with this plane hijacking movie trailer. It's a drama. I promise you, this is the bleakest we'll get. Going forward, after this trailer review, nothing but shenanigans and goofiness.
But until then, scowl, because this is 7500. This is directed by Patrick Vollrath, written by him and Sanad Halil Basic. This is starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm not actually recognizing anyone else, so I'm just going to shout out 3 to 4 of you in this cast. We have Hisham Sabai, who is Hopper. We have Paul Woolen, who is Daniel. We have Ariel Thipault as Natalie, and Aylin Tizel as Gaki. Hey, all of you, good job, you're in this movie.
Not in the cockpit, though.
Yeah, clearly not, because there's really... I mean, in theory, there's 2... Here, let's explain it. So, this trailer...
Oh, so many jokes. Oh, wait, we have to set it up first.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a pilot. Gone are the days where he is just that plucky Disney kid. Gone are the days where he is that plucky teenager solving crime at a high school in California. Gone are the days where he's solving crime using time travel. No. He's just a pilot now. And that's okay. Let the guy settle. So he plants a smooch to a stewardess who, through some expository dialogue, we find out that they got a kid at home. Oh, that's sweet. Husband and wife duo. Always love to see it. So this couple, very much in love, very much up in the skies. They've joined the Mile High Club of the Heart, and that's what I love to see.
That should be a new rock band.
I'm just picturing a lot of 80s hair metal and people, when they sing, doing that thing where they're just like rocking their fist back and forth in the air. We have to scowl. What are we doing? So Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's flying. Everything's going great and dandy on this flight. And then the stewardess tries to buzz her way in, and he's like, oh, my beloved, come on in. He opens the door when suddenly a couple of terrorists rush the front, and they're trying to get in, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is able to shove him, the terrorist, and also presumably his boo, out of the cockpit, close the door, and locks it, and radios in due to protocol 7500, which is the code airlines use to notify dispatch that they are underway of an attempted hijacking. That's more or less what we get. We have, I'm trying to remember what the actual term for it is, but this is mostly a one-location movie. I would say probably 99.9% of the content that we see in this trailer takes place within this airplane cockpit. And it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt trying to keep these terrorists at bay using locks and his shoulder. There is like a little video feed that looks out into the entryway into the cockpit, and these terrorists pull up various passengers and say, "You should let me in or I'll kill this person." Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, "Don't do that." And then it just sort of moves on to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, screaming to the high heavens because he's so not about this, which I get. Makes sense. It's a tense situation.
You said screaming. I think what you were trying to say was acting.
He is acting up a storm, my man. And I can totally understand his impulse as an actor because there is a co-pilot in that beginning sequence, but for whatever reason, that guy just sort of fucks off after the attempted hijacking at the beginning. I'm presuming he's dead. Otherwise, we're going to, at some point in the movie, just pan back over and see that guy, eyes like saucers, thinking to himself, we have it under control. I'm just landing the plane at the nearest airport right now, man. You don't have to be this worked up about it. And it turns out the reveal is that guy was alive the entire time. Or he's dead. It's probably he's dead. That is the trailer. That is the zhuzh, the drama, as it were. Now, in terms of the zhuzh and the drama, I watched this trailer, and all I could really think about as I was watching it was, man, this really makes me take into stock and perspective how 9/11 was portrayed in film. Because I'm old enough to remember them like pulling various movies and books and video games and albums off of shelves because they featured the Twin Towers in some way. And we've now just gotten to the point where, just like this very inert looking Amazon thriller just about a plane hijacking. Fuck it. Go for it. No one cares. And wow, that's really interesting. And then I blink and realize, I'm not actually like paying attention to this. Oh, they're still screaming. And now Joseph Gordon-Levitt is also saying, "You can't come up here." And it's like, well, yeah, we know. Otherwise, you would have let him up. And I was definitely not that interested or engaged in this. But how about you, James?
No. Sorry, no.
All right, cool. So for our review segment,
I do have more to say, but to answer your question, no, this didn't really like spark any interest that I think it was trying to do. I think, like you said, it's like a box episode of a TV show, right? That's what they call them, right? Box episodes?
Bottle episode.
Oh, thank you, bottle.
You were right in that it was a receptacle, and it started with a B. So...
So it's essentially a bottle episode of a movie. The entire movie takes place in the cockpit. That aspect, I'm like, okay, that can be interesting.
Did you ever see the movie Locke with Tom Hardy?
No.
Very similar in the sense of it's a one-location movie where it's just Tom Hardy driving in a car for the entirety of the 90 minutes. And it's just, he's on the phone with various people who are trying to blackmail him, and he's also trying to get a hold of his family, and it's just all from the perspective of this car ride. So, yeah, but there is definitely a precedent for this kind of movie.
And I think there is a way to market that. This wasn't it. And I'm not saying it's horrible. It's just, it didn't really capture my attention. It really just relies on Joseph Gordon-Levitt acting in a bottle, in a box, in a cockpit, whatever. Choose your receptacle.
Choose your receptacle. You're damn right. I completely agree, man. Yeah, and something I'll note is how did Locke present it in its trailer? And I can tell you right now, James, more or less lied. Like, it definitely presented Locke like it was this big, tense thriller that would be a lot of like driving and crazy shit. No, it's very much a one-man show just in a car. And that doesn't mean that it's not dramatic. That doesn't mean that interesting things don't happen in it. But it definitely was not the tense, crazy thriller that it was marketed to be.
This does have other aspects too that I'm like, I can find interesting on paper. So like these hijackers don't have any weapons. They don't have any guns. They don't have any knives. They just have like some broken glass. That in of itself is interesting. And that kind of makes your brain go, huh, why are they doing it that way? And it's like, oh, maybe it's because like they're adapting to different TSA regulations. You have this aspect of Joseph Gordon-Levitt trying to just convince the whole cabin to rise up and just like overtake these guys, which has got to be dramatic and like intense and frustrating. And as a captain, it's something you're like, I shouldn't have to ask these people to just like rise up and take over these people. But what else are we gonna do here? So there are interesting things in this trailer, but all put together didn't make me interested.
Same. Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I want to say need to see more because there are so many interesting things in it.
But even then though, man, from like a trailer angle, because we set up the, you know, we got a kid at home angle at the beginning, and then I think you get one very brief shot of the terrorists have her. And she's looking up and going, "Oh, this is a rough situation, ain't it?" And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you know, screams out to no one in particular. And that's really about it. Like, not much gets paid off. The fact that we completely drop off the other pilots in that beginning, if that's the case, you probably could have cut it in a way where we didn't see the other pilot, you know? Yeah, there were just certain things, the storytelling within the trailer, that kind of felt like they weren't really explored that much or were just completely cut off entirely. And it was mostly just watch Joseph Gordon-Levitt act. And I went, I can do that with a lot of other things. So I'm personally at a never need to see.
I was going to say that. I'm also at a never need to see. Even though on paper, this feels like a need to see more movie. I watched it and I was like, all right, next trailer. Let's get to Money Plane, baby.
Let's indeed get to Money Plane. If you were like, listen, talking about plane hijackings, that was too real for me. We have to take a step back. I'm very sorry to report this next one is a plane hijacking story. But would you believe me if I told you it was way fucking goofier? You can bet on it, because this is Money Plane.
It's a legend in the underworld. It's the Money Plane. A bulletproof casino in the sky, untouchable by any government agency. Whatever you want to wager on, the Money Plane has you covered.
Russian roulette.
Word is they carry up to $1 billion on board in crypto and millions in cash. I want you and your crew to take down the house.
Now bring me my money!
Money Plane, not to be confused with Bitcoin Bus. This is directed by Andrew Lawrence, written by him and Tim Schaaf. This is starring Kelsey Grammer, Adam Copeland, Thomas Jane, Denise Richards. Our random shout out is going to go to Donnie McFinley, who was the costume designer. Hey, Donnie, good job, bud. I definitely believe those people are on a plane.
And have money.
Yes, indeed. So this is Money Plane. Well, the first thing we see is Frasier's own Kelsey Grammer lighting a cigar, looking very regal and rich. And he's like, you know why I brought you here? And we reverse shot on a really, really tough guy who looks like he's not there of his own choice. This tough guy says, yes, I do. Kelsey Grammer decides to tell him what's up anyway. Kelsey Grammer says, listen, you're a gambler. You know, you never give up the gambling life, and I know that you do bad shit. And here's the deal. I've bought all of your debt, and now you have to pay just me back. And this tough guy says, just get to the job already. Which I find really interesting, because this does sort of imply that this tough guy, anytime he accrues any amount of debt ever, is immediately saying to people, what do you want me to do? So, like, he goes and buys something at a Target and uses his fucking Chase card, and then calls Chase up and went, just tell me the job. And it just hit the point where a lot of these credit card companies went, I mean, can you fucking do my laundry? And they've just been exploiting him up until this point. And Kelsey Grammer went, well, he's got guns. I can use that. So that's what leads us to now. Kelsey Grammer says, I got a job for you. And that is the money plane. Now, the money plane is an airbound casino. It's in this bulletproof airplane. It can't be touched by any law enforcement. They have $1 billion in Bitcoin. They have millions of dollars in cash. And Kelsey Grammer wants this tough guy to get a crack crew together to rob it. Now, immediately, once I heard the concept of an air casino, I went, why not just go on a casino that's on the ground? You can just play cards there. But no. This is a bad casino. These are people who are betting on Russian roulette.
Yeah, we're gonna list a whole bunch of bad shit that they're doing on it. Russian roulette. We do Russian roulette. There's also, okay, you know what? All we have is Russian roulette in terms of bad things. But you know what? It's on an airplane. Guns on an airplane. Not good. Russian roulette.
Yeah. Russian roulette's the only thing we see. So other things that I would presume, let's see, there's probably, like they're betting on animal fighting, like probably stuff that's really bad. They're probably using illegal Yu-Gi-Oh cards to play with each other on the plane. And when people get banished to the Shadow Realm, they just throw them off the plane. There's still people who use Beyblades, and they're all on that plane, just fucking whipping them back and forth. That's a deeper cut, but if you watch Toonami anytime between the years 2002 and 2004, hi, I see you.
I'm going to pretend you didn't do that deep cut, and I'm going to reference your last cut.
Okay,
I'm going to riff off of that, and someone's going to play a holographic Charizard, and they're going to be like, dude, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And he's like, dude, this is money plane. There are no rules. Russian
roulette. And so that's what's happening on this plane. But that's okay. Tough guy has a tough crew, which includes Lady, who, when people touch her, she breaks their hands. Honestly, everyone deserves a friend like that. You should go find one now if you don't have that kind of friend. He also has a friend in Drone Guy. Drone Guy has a gun on a drone, and this drone is mowing dudes down on a hill somewhere, and then it cuts to, I know he's wearing more than a stained white t-shirt and boxers, but just in my mind's eye, I can't unsee an image of that. And he's just got this little controller, and he's like, pow, 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 pow. Hey, there's the dude I'm protecting. Hi, friend. And then he drinks a beer. And it's the laziest goddamn thing ever. Let me tell you right now, just look extra hard for that female friend who breaks people's hands. You don't need that guy as a friend. But he's there nonetheless. And then it hits the point where Kelsey Grammer says, where's my money? Because presumably, after doing this money heist on a money plane, they did not give Kelsey Grammer that money, probably because they realized they could just believe in themselves. If we can knock off a casino in the sky that uses Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Russian roulette, we probably don't need to take Kelsey Grammer all that seriously. That's the trailer. Now, here's the deal, James. Last week we talked about Force of Nature and how it was like, oh shit, it turns out straight-to-DVD movies still exist, even though DVDs really aren't a thing anymore. And lo and behold, it turns out there's more than one, and they're all coming out in June. What luck, I suppose. Let me get your thoughts. I've been talking for a while, James.
I mean, my thoughts revolve mostly around Russian roulette, Kevin.
It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Yeah, it is worth noting that if you want to add an element of danger, it's good to show that in the trailer, aside from one guy saying Russian roulette, and that's
it's just built up like they were gonna list a whole bunch of bad gambling shit that they were doing, and then they say Russian roulette, and I'm like, okay, all right, good start.
Dangerous.
And then they moved on to the next part of the trailer, and I was like, that's it? I'm like, don't get me wrong, Russian roulette is bad. Like, I'm not going to partake in it, but things need to be done in lists when you're talking about how bad the plane is.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was really hard for me to stop focusing on the fact that it's just Russian roulette. That's the only bad thing that's going on. But I did like Kelsey Grammer's acting, and it very much rivaling Joseph Gordon-Levitt's acting in the last airplane heist movie. Do you think Kelsey Grammer's mad he didn't get to be on the money plane? Because if he was on the money plane, he would know where his money is.
Well, yeah, that's legit. That might be why he wants it knocked off so bad. It's not just because there's a lot of money within this plane, because bear in mind, there's a lot of money everywhere. You don't have to necessarily go on the plane for it, but it's the fact that he wasn't included. And that's why he gets even more mad that he gets double-crossed later, James, is they're not including him on his cut. And it's just, twisting the knife on an already fresh wound, and that's not okay. Poor Kelsey.
Twisting the knife away.
What song is that like a Pet Shop Boys song that I don't know about? What's going on there?
Well, no, it's like Twisting the Night Away, but I went with Twisting the Knife Away.
Now, what's Twisting the Night Away from? Do you mean Pissing the Night Away from the Chumbawamba song?
Sam Cooke, Twisting the Night Away. Have you not heard Twisting the Night Away?
I don't believe so.
Twisting the night away.
Now, let me tell you about some art here. We have Kissing the Night Away with Chumbawamba. That's from I Get Knocked Down, or Tub Thumping is the original name of the song.
Oh, I know Tub Thumping.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Chumbawamba song.
I think it's everyone's favorite Chumbawamba song, including Chumbawamba and anyone who's listened to the rest of Chumbawamba songs. Yeah. Man, we're having way more fun talking about music than we are talking about Money Plane.
Money Plane. Needs more Chumbawamba, needs more than just Russian roulette.
Deal. Yeah, nothing further to add, Your Honor. That's a never need to see out of me.
You know what? It's a never need to see for me. I wouldn't hate it, though, if I got really wasted and it was like, oh, yeah, I'm throwing this movie on right the fuck now. But
it is, much like Force of Nature, much like Unhinged, which we talked about last episode.
Oh, great comparison.
There are definitely movies that demand to be recoiled at, where you are filled with whatever your vice of choice is and your friends are nearby. And I definitely think of the three, Unhinged is the clear winner out of all of them. However, I would put Money Plane above Force of Nature. So
I don't even remember what Force of Nature is. Of course it's above Force of Nature.
That was the every disgraced actor is having fun during a hurricane.
Oh God, Mel Gibson, Emile Hirsch, and poor Kate Bosworth.
Just stuck in she's the eye of the hurricane in that trailer.
Exactly. The calm in the storm, for sure.
She is the calm of the storm.
Yeah. Let's ditch this Money Plane.
Dude, it's kind of funny that we ended up just talking about Sam Cooke and Chumbawamba. Because I think at heart, we just wanted to get ahead to the next trailer because we want to face the music, much like Bill and Ted are.
Bill and Ted, what have you got to say for yourselves?
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
You were supposed to unite the world and save reality as we know it.
Bill, we've spent our whole life trying to write the song that will unite the world. Why can't we just go to the future when we have written it?
Whoa! Take it from ourselves.
But isn't that stealing?
How is that stealing if we're stealing it from ourselves, dude?
James, how do you feel about the statement, better late than never?
I'm familiar with it.
Because I caught something, maybe a little bit too late to really make it a part of the episode, but it is better late than never. We do accidentally have a music pairing with this episode as well. We bookended it with music movies.
Oh, yeah, we did. I love it. I love it when we bookend with stuff. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
And then we had a sandwich of terrorism right in the middle. But enough about the terrorism. It's time to face the music. This is the new Bill and Ted movie. This is directed by Dean Parasot. This is written by Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. This is starring Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Samara Weaving, Bridget Lundy Payne. Our random shout out is going to go to David Sardi, who's the first AD. Hey, David, good job, bud. I'm sure you kept a lot of people on time and that was stressful, but the movie got done, so you clearly did it. So this is Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm going to have James face this trailer head on, tell me what's happening here, and give us your first thoughts.
Have you ever heard of Bill and Ted? Yeah, they're only the two greatest rock stars of all time, according to their movie from 30 years ago.
Which, to keep with another theme this episode, I have not seen. So...
Pause. You haven't seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
Nope.
Okay. I just don't get you sometimes.
Dude, I couldn't watch Bill and Ted. I was too busy watching The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, so the trailer begins, and we have an ominous, mystical voice telling us, you too have had a really raging rock concert 30 years ago, and then you were going to write a song that completely like saves humanity, and have not yet written said song that will save humanity.
Right.
Why are you dragging your feet on this, you guys? Basically. And they say their catchphrases like they always do. Be excellent to each other.
One, do they actually say that? And two, I didn't know those were catchphrases.
Yes.
I don't remember them saying that.
Alex Winter says, be excellent to each other. Keanu Reeves is like, and rock on, dudes. And George Carlin's stand-in is just like, we're having none of your catchphrase tagline bullshit. You haven't saved humanity yet. This is fucking serious. You gotta write the song, you bunch of bozos. They were like, oh crap, I guess we're slackers all over again 30 years later. So it's like, we need to write the song that will save humanity, and they are going to use their phone booth time machine to do it. They're going to meet up with the Grim Reaper, Death, again, and just kind of rock out. And they're going to meet themselves of the future who wrote the song that saved humanity. Although it might be implied that there's some time travel hijinks that happen that's the wrong timeline, because those don't look like Bill and Ted that we know. And end of trailer. I think we crushed that. I don't know about you, Kevin.
It was like I was watching it in real time.
A massive Bill and Ted fan such as yourself was just like, no notes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm coming at this from the perspective of someone who has not seen either Bill and Ted movie. Okay. And I enjoyed the fuck out of this trailer. I know vaguely what the premise is. I know there is some form of time travel or magic or witchcraft or whatever. I know there's some sort of fantastical element within Bill and Ted.
I mean, I could tell you right now, very quickly. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the first one, they time travel to learn about things to save their history report, which is amazing. George Carlin is in it. He's from the future, and he helped them around. And then Bogus Journey, they meet Death, and they need to like try and cheat Death, basically.
Oh, is Death the Voldemort-looking motherfucker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, J.K. Rowling, we saw you rip off fucking Death in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And also, stop being a turf. All right. Anyway, as someone who hasn't seen it, it's like I know vaguely what the premise of it is, but this is really my first taste of it, and I had a real blast with it. Like, I knew walking in that these were two sweet, if a little airheadish kind of characters, and I was really having fun watching them. I was not expecting the big ethical dilemma in the middle of it, which is, oh, well, why don't we just go into the future and steal the song from ourselves? And they went, isn't that stealing? Well, is it still stealing as if it's from you? That's honestly not a bad question. And we're not going to think about it. Let's just fucking hop in, bud. And that's kind of what makes it fun, is this trailer did kind of start by giving you some real meat to it, because ultimately there is really no song that's going to unite humanity. This is ultimately a doomed project. And in the intermediary, it's like, what are you going to wrestle with until you get to the eventual turning point, which is that's not really a thing you can do. And now they're willing to even try and steal from themselves in order to make it happen. It's I thought that was really interesting, and I had a really fun time. I am very curious about the story elements, and I did giggle quite a bit throughout the entirety of this trailer. I did have a lot of fun seeing these two characters, and even though I don't have that 20 plus or 30 year connection with these characters, I was really engaged with this.
I watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure a lot. I've seen Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey a couple times. They were always on TV. I watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure recently, and it mostly holds up. To you, Kevin, and to anyone who hasn't seen it, I would recommend it. There is like one specific joke in quotation. There's one specific line in Excellent Adventure that is really not good at all. Very problematic. It's like blink and you miss it, but if you don't miss it, it kind of just like taints your whole like taste in your mouth for the next like 10 minutes.
Sure.
Even though it's like an afterthought of a line. Otherwise, though, I have fond memories of the movie. I have fond memories of Bogus Journey. And I have been following this for quite a while because this is a movie that they've been talking about doing for quite a while. And I'm right there with you. I'm very pumped about this. It's just such a heartfelt movie about two dummies just like trying to do better. That's it. That's all it is. They're trying to do better and they're trying to be rock stars at the same time. And they're completely well-meaning people. I don't think it was like the most amazing trailer. I think I was expecting something a little bit longer, and so we don't really get a whole lot in it. Man, does Keanu Reeves look weird without his like John Wick beard nowadays?
Yeah, he definitely, we've made jokes for a long time about how he doesn't age, but boy, if you take a picture of him from this movie and put him next to original Bill and Ted, no, he aged. It's definitely apparent that like they are older.
And you know what? That's fine. That's life.
Absolutely. I think that's kind of a part of it too. And I think that kind of adds to the joke of like, look at how much older they are. They didn't do the thing they said they were going to do almost 30 years ago. And that is kind of part of it. And I don't think that it necessarily takes away from the charm of the character that they're that old and still that airheaded. If anything, it makes them even more endearing of like, oh, these two really sweet guys remain that way their entire lives. And there is something really endearing about that.
Yeah, endearing and charm this trailer has in Aces. I wouldn't say I laughed a whole lot during it. Like even like the end button where they run into like prison Bill and Ted selves from the future.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really find like the body muscle suits funny. What I did find funny was Keanu Reeves going like, it's a bit dark, but that's okay.
Yeah, if anything, I don't know how meta the original Bill and Ted stuff would get. That said, it might have been interesting to see the older version of Bill is more or less just John Wick.
Oh, that would have been really funny. And then you get a Neo version of him in the movie too, with a different future timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you could have done a lot of stuff.
Maybe Ted's a vampire because he was also in The Lost Boys. It's unfortunately
Alex that's right. Oh, that's right. Those are like the only two things he was in, right?
I'm looking at the rest of his filmography right now, and like, I have to hope that he was just doing super good for himself off of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I mean, there's just a lot of people who, you know, are in a super popular movie and then are just like, yeah, that was really fun. I mean, I don't really want to be an actor anymore, though.
Or they're like, well, back to the theater. That is something to note, too, is like once they start doing theater, their IMDb drops off and they're like, I guess they gave up. And it's like, no, they're still doing it.
That's true.
They're just not updating it.
Yeah.
But I thought that there was a ton of promise within this. I know it is still a very early trailer, but this first one made someone like me who doesn't know anything about the Bill and Ted franchise and kind of like welcomed me out right in. Like it gave me what I felt was the conclusion of the last couple of movies and a good litmus for where those characters were at the end of those, showed me where they are now, and then showed me where they were going to go from there. And I felt really welcomed, and I was definitely entertained. So this is a need to see for me.
God, I'm so happy to hear you say that. It's a need to see for me as well, Kevin.
Hey, cheers!
Cheers, double need to see. It's got charm and endearment just up the wazoo. Especially someone like yourself, Kevin, who's never seen any of the movies. That's great that you got that from it, because that's what the movies are. That is the essence of the Bill and Ted franchise.
Endearing, damn it.
Endearing.
Well, I hope that this podcast endeared you to some trailers. What did you think of them? Please be sure to tell us by hitting us up on our various social medias. You can do so by hitting us up on Facebook. Just search Trailer Hitch Podcast on there and you can find us there. Otherwise, you can hit us up on Twitter at Trailer Hitch Pod. Let us know. Otherwise, you can email us at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com if you want a longer missive. Or if you're a more visual sort of person, you can hit us up on Instagram at Trailer Hitch Podcast. Or you can write a comment on our YouTube channel. For the most part, when we get YouTube comments, people are, very genuinely engaged in discussion. And that's actually very sweet and definitely bucks the trend of most YouTube comments. And we would just like to say the people who write mean YouTube comments, you can go ahead and stay the fuck over there, buddy, because we got a good crew over there. And while you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. Be sure to like our videos. All that good stuff helps us find more people. And also, speaking of that, you can find us on Stitcher if you're an Android user. Otherwise, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. And of course, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things, and help us find more people where we can talk about Money Plane. I almost forgot the name of the title of the trailer that we reviewed this episode. That's how forgettable it is, folks. Before we go, we would like to thank Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for the amazing intro song that you hear at the top of every episode. I would also like to thank Casey Clowers for the amazing outro, which you'll hear in a moment. I would also like to thank Rachel Ashley for the amazing cover art that you see on our various social medias. You can find her work at Mighty Creations on Instagram. We would also like to thank Jenny Hawks, our bad movie and social media correspondent, for her sterling work week in and week out. And we would also like to thank you for listening. We hope that you had a great time, folks. James, do you have anything to add before we go?
Be excellent to each other, dudes.
Now, is that from something, James? Because I don't think I've actually seen that movie.
Yeah, it's from Bill and it's from Bill and Ted. Did we just went through this, Kevin?
You can't mend holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
But I think. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Just until I forget what I was about to say again, I just remembered. So I was like, now I forgot.
That's okay, bud. Does Mario help? I can keep doing Mario.
It kind of did. I just figured it out. I don't know if Mario helped, but
oh my god, did it really?
Okay.
If I do the underwater theme, will you forget it? Do 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 do.
Nope, still got it.